Welcome back to the Maximum Chillage Podcast, episode 20. My name is Chuy Sanchez. With me, as always,
and I'm Tiki Mike.
Mike.
I didn't catch that. We're at episode 20.
20 episodes deep.
20 episodes deep. That is cool.
I remember when we were like 4 episodes deep, we were like, wow. I didn't think we'd make it this long. No, we're 20 episodes deep, man. We're a few months deep.
That's a 5-month mark. Mm-hmm. That's 5 months of doing this. That's cool.
We started when it was balls hot. I'll tell you a little story. I'll tell you now because I wasn't able to tell you back then. You know this story.
Oh,
when we started this podcast, we didn't have a place to do it, and it was balls hot. It was so hot outside because it was July. I remember it was July when we started this. I was working in
July.
Was it June? It was hot.
Yeah, it might have been July.
It was really hot, and I didn't have a place to do this podcast. So I said, you know what? I'm working in an office by myself. We can do the podcast at the office. We can just do it in the back room. I'll make a whole set. I'll make a YouTube set. And in my office that I was working at, I made a YouTube set that was fucking phenomenal. Was it not crazy good?
It was pretty good. It was very impressive. I mean, just check out. Do we have
pictures?
Any Instagram
we have some pictures on
it?
Instagram. That's my office.
Yeah.
So I had some dipshit bosses that never checked on me. Fuck them. If you're listening, fuck you. They would never check on me. So I just
wasn't one kind of a friend of family or something.
Fuck that guy, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fuck him. So I'll tell you why in a little bit. It's not a very funny story. So I just got a bunch of shit from thrift stores, my house, what have you, and I made this awesome YouTube set that me and Mike wanted to start a YouTube channel. That's what we ultimately wanted to do.
It was going to be a talk show.
It was going to be a talk show. Can we talk about how grandiose we wanted this to be?
Oh, dude, it was pretty good.
I wanted it to be a talk show where I had myself and Mike as my co-hosts. We had a really nice wooden desk because this was an office.
I imagine myself more as the sidekick, you know?
Like an Andy...
don't compare me to that guy. I don't like that guy. He's a hack.
Andy Richter?
Oh, Andy Richter.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the fucker's name from Letterman?
The guy Paul that played
Schaefer? Oh, I was thinking...
He played piano.
Yeah. What did I say he was?
Guitarist?
Did I say guitarist?
Yeah, you told him an asshole, too. He's just a nice old man.
Nah, he's lame, dude.
Speaking of piano people...
Dave, no.
No,
Dave, no.
Speaking of people
fucking hated him, dude.
Wanted to play piano. I wanted a piano player in-house.
Yeah, that is the grandioso stuff that you're talking about.
So I wanted
I thought it was possible.
It was possible.
No.
It was just very expensive.
No.
So I wanted a piano guy. We invested all kinds of lights and stuff.
And we wouldn't have the scene cuts. And we would need multiple cameramen for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we would. It's true. And that's why we hired Nestor and then later fired him. But that's neither here nor there. We actually have fired people off of this podcast already 5 minutes in. We've hired and fired a couple people.
Like 3.
Like 3 people we've hired and fired. I've lost friends over this podcast. But yeah, so I built this fucking great studio in my office, and it's air conditioned and everything. And the only thing that fucked us up is one time we were there way too late, and I guess one of the owner's friends passed by, and I thought I heard a knock. Did you hear a knock?
I didn't hear a knock.
I thought I heard a knock, but I just kind of I was like, whatever. I don't think this knock. We have headphones on. We can't hear anything. I guess somebody narked on us. They narked on us to my boss that we were there, and whatever. They were like, hey, well, what are you doing there? And I was like, all right, we gotta cut this shit out. I didn't think it was a big deal. I figured they pay for the space. We're not doing anything crazy. We're just recording a podcast. But that's neither here nor there. We're 20 episodes deep now, and we do this in our Maximum Chillage studio, aka my room.
Yeah, it's an okay space. Not very comfortable in the summer, but we put it together still. Yeah, man.
I'm having a lot of fun doing this, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're gaining a lot of traction. We have a lot of people. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We also have a YouTube channel that I'm looking to put some cool shit on. I actually have a spot now to do YouTube stuff. Katie moved into an apartment. Shout out to Katie because she's going to let me use a room to do videos. Oh, not just...
Whoa. Whoa.
No. But yeah, shout out to you, Katie, for letting me use a little piece of the room to do some stupid-ass Maximum Chillage frostbites is what I'm going to call them. But you chilled too hard and got frostbitten.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So this week on the podcast, Jim Carrey has a new documentary that we're in it explains a little bit of his madness that he had in the 90s. He had a little breakdown that everybody thought, but it's explained in this documentary.
Does it go into his current breakdown?
Oh, that has to do with
his girlfriend suicide,
killing herself. Yeah,
him getting all into we don't exist, nothing exists.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's just depression.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it's also a little bit of him being weird, dude. It's more than just depression.
Oh yeah.
There's something else going on with that guy.
We'll dive into that,
which I think is partly from this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to talk about it. Oreo has a mystery flavor that we're going to actually try. We both went to baby showers this weekend, so we're going to talk about that because I did not have a really particularly good time. But Michael, I am jealous of his baby shower story because he went to go somewhere actually cool that has alcohol. And Michael has a rant that we want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Michael has a rant. Michael's a little ranty today.
Oh, yeah.
He always is. But
I keep that negativity away from the podcast mostly.
When I hang out with Michael, a lot of it is me.
Just listening?
Well, it's just a lot of me like bitching about people and him ranting about other people. It's just we've compared each other to the old men on the Muppets who are always talking shit.
Oh shit, I forgot their names. Is one Mortimer? No,
I don't know their names, but you were the old men on the Muppets who just sit on our ivory tower on our perch of the theater and we just talk shit on everybody. If you're listening, we've talked shit on you.
You know, some of you have redeemable qualities though, which we like. Some of you don't. I'll still be cordial. I mean, it's not fake. I do think that people need to be civil to each other, regardless if they like or dislike each other. But it doesn't mean that,
Speaking of talking shit on people, next week is our 10-year reunion.
Ooh.
Are you going?
No.
Explain why you're not going, and I'll explain why I'm not.
I don't know. I just don't see any reason to.
I feel like reunions they're not a necessity anymore. Back then when there was no Facebook, and everybody fell off the face of the earth, and you're like, whoa, I haven't seen that. Oh, I still haven't seen a lot of people. I see a lot of people online a lot. I haven't seen people in person.
But you're kept up
years.
with them because of the online stuff.
I know way more than I'm supposed to about them and how they raise their kids.
I mean, we know their
eating habits,
their breakdowns at Walmart and stuff. Like that's not information that people had in the 70s. Of like, oh shit, like maybe I should go to my high school reunion. I wonder what so and so's up to. And no, if they had the same information that I had of just like, oh, I hate fucking Walmart, I hate fucking the lines, I hate, oh, my kids are acting up, I wouldn't want to see them. I would not want to see them, and that's why I don't want to go. Partly, there's probably a lot of reasons.
I'll tell you why I didn't want to go.
Don't really feel like it.
Most of my friends were younger, so I didn't really have a lot of friends that were our age in high school or older. I had older and younger friends. I think you and another guy were my main best friends of my same grade in high school.
Well, you've made friends with a lot of
later on in life,
after.
But I see them all the time. I don't need a reunion to see them. I'll see them next week.
I guess that's the main reason why I don't want to go. I feel like everybody that I do keep in touch with is everybody that I do really care to see. For the most part, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I don't know if I don't think there's anybody from our class that I haven't seen where it's just like I'm super dying to get in touch with again.
Well, in high school, we were antisocial socialites, is how I'll put it. That's pretty much how we were. Like we were antisocial, but we weren't like Breakfast Club emo girl antisocial. We were more like Emilio Estevez meets the emo girl. That's how I would put it.
Dude, I was really hoping for a fucking Bender, like Ben.
He thought he was too cool, dude. I think we knew our place.
I think I'm pretty sure I was Bender in high school.
All right.
That's how I like to remember myself in high school. Even though I know that's not.
You just raise your fist at the end of high school.
Yeah, I just had some bandanas on my feet.
Oh, dude, yeah, we listened to a lot of punk rock in high school, and we dressed a little different, and I wore girl pants.
And remember that speech I gave you about how I got the cigarette burn on my arm, dude?
The germs burn?
No.
Oh, it wasn't a germs burn?
No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't sure if you had one or not.
No, this is a quote from it was a reference to Breakfast Club. Oh. But apparently you're not as big of a John Hughes fan as I am.
No, not me, not really. Speaking of John Hughes and...
Speaking of John Hughes.
I think John Hughes, is he Home Alone 2?
He did Home Alone and Home Alone 2.
Yeah, Home Alone 2. Lost in New York. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The hotel is hosting a 20-year anniversary of that movie.
That is sick as fuck.
You can purchase the Kevin McAllister package where you pay like however much he paid on room service, and you get to live his day in the hotel. So they give you a big ass ice cream sundae, and then all the food that he ordered they send to your room.
Oh,
and it's the Kevin McAllister special at the actual hotel where he stayed. I think that's pretty cool.
I hope they have a team up with the limo service that brings you to the hotel with the cheese pizza and the champagne glass of Coca-Cola.
I think they would. That's like a quintessential piece of that movie. Speaking of that,
will Donald Trump be there to give me assistance of where the hallway is?
Dude, I love that meme so much. Like, you fucking assholes elected Donald Trump, a person who let Kevin McAllister be lost in New York without contacting an adult.
Well, you see, I saw the same meme, or the same picture with the opposite that said, shout out to Donald Trump, the only person that helped a kid find the desk, or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, so they have the Kevin McAllister special at the hotel. I think that's pretty cool. Speaking of that, we were going to talk about this later on in the podcast, but we should talk about it now. Movies that are the sequel's better than the original.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Home Alone 2.
You think Home Alone 2?
It could be a contender. I don't think so myself.
Contender? I don't think so. I think the first one, I think when I was a kid, I liked the Lost in New York one more. But as I got older, I think I appreciated the first one a lot better. Yeah, I'm going to say I like the first one more.
The first one's definitely a classic. But what to you on your list? What's better?
Except I don't know when she's there at the Christmas tree, and
I can't tell you that I know all of the scene by scene, dude. I've seen all of them so many times that they kind of. Which one is the one with Joe Pesci? This the first one?
He's in both.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
And the first one, they are the wet bandits.
Okay,
that's the calling card.
That's the classic
they
I know.
They leave the water running in the basements. The second one is where it starts off with him and his friend, and they're out. They've relocated to New York. They're going to make a new start. They happen to see Joe Pesci thinks he sees the kid walking by, and he's like, "No, that wasn't him." And then they run into him later, after they're trying to rob the toy store that Kevin makes a connection with the guy that runs the toy store. Anyways, in that one, they're not the wet bandits. The guy decides to put tape all over his hands, and he calls them the sticky bandits, and he takes all the donations out of the baskets of people, ringing the bells, getting donations for Christmas time shit, And so they become the sticky bandits. But yeah, man.
I just looked it up. The limo ride is included.
The limo ride is included.
Yeah,
that's a good package. How much does that package cost?
This package is costing $967.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's not bad. Like
rates start at $895. And that's slightly less expensive than what Kevin paid. He paid $967 on room service. So $895.
You see, if I was actually in the area, like if I wasn't needing to buy a ticket to get there, I think I would do that.
It says not included, the pigeon lady visit and the visit by Donald Trump. It says that. So to me, I don't know. I can't think of a movie that's better than the original. Mighty Ducks 2. Yeah.
Oh, Mighty
D2
Ducks,
the Mighty Ducks.
You know what? That is a better sequel.
D2 the Mighty Ducks is definitely better than the original. I will say that
the
all
original
day long.
Is bad. Just the sequel is better. But yeah, off the top of my head, I had thought of the two Batman movies.
What about Rush Hour 2? I feel like Rush Hour 2 is better than Rush Hour 1.
I like Rush Hour 1.
I feel like I celebrate the whole trilogy.
You see, I didn't really watch the third one, but I've seen parts of it. But and I do like the second one. But
that's a great franchise. One franchise that I wish wouldn't have gone so far: Fast and the Furious. One wish that I wish that would have went.
Each one gets way better than the last.
Dude, I wish
Not really.
Rush Hour would have gone 9 movies.
I don't know, dude. I remember reading somewhere, or maybe it was a YouTube video. Jackie Chan doesn't even think the movie's that funny. He doesn't understand American humor, and he was like, I don't know why that movie did so well. Like,
it's honestly the best part is his broken English. I think that's why he doesn't get it. He's like, I'm just speaking.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, The Dark Knight.
I was thinking about The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight is way better. Okay. I like Batman Begins, but The Dark Knight is way better. And if we were going to talk about the other Batman series with Michael Keaton, although I really like the Jack Nicholson Joker movie, I think the darker movie with even a cameo of Paul Rubens as the Penguin's father, Penguin and Catwoman. I think that one is better than the original. But yeah, I when you started telling me about that, I also started looking up a list of them, and there were some that I agreed with. Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, I think, is a better movie than the first one. Even though that they build off of each other, I still think it's a better movie. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A lot of people don't know that that's actually a part of a trilogy. It's kind of a trilogy. They're not exactly linked up like in sequential order, but The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is considered a sequel.
Daddy Daycare 2.
It's a great movie. Huh?
Not Daddy Daycare 2. Cheaper by the Dozen 2. I feel it's better than Cheaper by the Dozen 1.
Dude, I don't even think Cheaper by the Dozen 2 had what's his face in it.
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it have Hilary Duff?
I'm not sure.
I bet it didn't.
I don't think so.
Nah, dude.
So you mentioned something that we're gonna dive into today, than that was planned to dive into, but I was going to segue so early. Method acting.
Yeah.
And The Dark Knight is that the one? Is that with Heath Ledger? Is that The Dark Knight?
That's Heath Ledger. Yeah.
So talk about what method acting is and how Heath Ledger dove into that role too deep.
Okay, so like method acting is the process where an actor takes on all the characteristics of that character he's portraying during the whole project. Either they will go visit places, like let's say they're doing a movie about mental illness. A lot of people, Robert De Niro did
One
this.
Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one about mental illness that they all really jumped into. Yeah,
see, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I knew that Robert De Niro before Taxi did go visit mental hospitals and spent a lot of time with people and talking to people before he developed his character. So a lot of the times, a lot of these actors will spend the whole production time in character, whether the camera's rolling or not, helps them keep that same energy level, helps them develop more of a nuanced portrayal of the person.
It says here that Robert De Niro actually got his cab driver's license while he was preparing for the role in the Scorsese classic.
And drove around.
The Oscar winner worked 12-hour shifts.
I do remember.
And would reportedly pick up passengers around New York City during breaks from shooting. So that's like how you like really jump into a role, is actually work the role.
Get that tiredness.
What did Heath Ledger do?
Oh, well, Heath Ledger, the reason why that role was so bad on him, he was staying up, like he was sleeping like 2 hours a lot of the time, was part of it. I don't remember a lot of his method acting, but I remember hearing about why he ended up getting into prescription drugs from the role, kind of, or maybe it was before the role, but he was mixing uppers and downers to sleep and wake up, and dude, I don't remember.
Billy Bob Thornton.
I know that he created the face paint himself. The early idea of the face paint. He went to a regular drugstore, bought some really cheap makeup, and did something himself that was supposed to be very similar to how the makeup artist decided to keep him.
He locked himself in a room for hours, practicing that voice and the mannerisms of the Joker. Those were all perfected.
And I think I remember hearing something about him basing some of the characteristics off of like Alex from Clockwork Orange. And,
probably.
And Sid Vicious and somebody else. I think there was supposed to be a mixture of a couple different characters.
Sling Blade. Did you ever watch Sling Blade with Billy Bob Thornton?
I've seen clips of it.
Give me some fried.
Was it taters?
Some fried. What is it? Fried green tomatoes or some French fried potatoes. I don't know. Billy Bob Thornton. So he would limp around. Would put crushed glass in his shoe, So
terrible.
So he would have a genuine limp. He would put actual glass in his shoe.
Like he would just get an infection.
He probably did. Another one was Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV. He actually asked Dolph Lundgren, a.k.a. Ivan Drago.
The legend.
Dolph Lundgren, to actually try to knock him out. So they were actually boxing in that movie, which Sylvester Stallone said was a huge mistake because later that night my blood pressure rose to 260 and I had to go to the hospital. And they had to put me in an emergency jet.
To which Dolph Lundgren, who was also a method actor, said, "If he dies, he dies." Just like in the movie.
So, like I said, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The cast from the picture, including Jack Nicholson, lived in a psychiatric ward where most of the movie was shot, interacting with real patients and undergoing group therapy sessions. Some of them were filmed for the movie. So that's...
we're missing Daniel Day-Lewis, a huge...
That's your favorite. Go ahead and talk about that one.
Well,
that's like one of the number one. He's number one on every list. He's always the number one
that everybody talks about. He's the most devoted to his characters.
So Daniel Day-Lewis, for his role in The Crucible, Daniel Day-Lewis committed to living on set, which was a replica colonial village, meaning there was no electricity or running water. He also built himself a 17th century house using only tools American settlers would have had available to them. Also in Grains of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis refused to wear a modern-day winter coat on the set of the filming and caught pneumonia. So that guy he lives his craft.
He does, dude. Minus, I think I hear a couple people talk about how in Lincoln, there's certain scenes where you can see his ear piercing. Not that he was wearing it, but that it's very visible to the camera. But another one that I can't respect is Jared Leto, man. You know, there's all these people, you hear these things, these stories, and you're like, wow. And then you hear about like his portrayal of the Joker and about how like, you know, he was like pulling stunts on set, like sending presents to the other cast members with condoms or a dead rat, and you're like, wow, dude, you're great. People are going to be talking about that for years. How magnificent that you created that character.
So he definitely took it too far there.
I wouldn't say took it too far. I'm saying, like, what the fuck is that? That's not even, like, something... I don't think that's in any source material that the Joker did. Maybe he was creating his own version of the Joker. And I think he was trying not to look at any source material. I think I remember hearing Heath Ledger read a lot of source material. Now, Jared Leto did the opposite. He tried to not look at any source material. He tried to not look at any cartoons, not see any other Joker portrayals in movies and television. And he was just trying to create his own thing. And I think it just went sour, dude.
I don't know a whole lot about it.
Not just about him, but also because whoever was in charge and, making him like a trap lord in a city, like... complete with the grill and, I don't know, man. They just, I think they really did.
He definitely tries to be a method actor because I read that in Dallas Buyers Club where he's a transsexual woman.
Actually, he did a very good job in that
movie. And I think he went
magnificent. Actually, he is so convincing in that movie.
I think he, for that one, I don't know what he did, but he did some method acting. So he probably lived as a transgender woman.
And I think his weight got down tremendously. And speaking of other people connected to Batman, Christian Bale, and also somebody who dropped a huge amount of weight for roles.
Was that The Machinist? Is what he dropped weight for?
Yeah, that was in between Batman movies, so he had bulked up and gained like 20 pounds for the first Batman. Shot that movie and he was like surviving on cigarettes, black coffee, and like a can of tuna and like an apple a day.
He dropped 60 pounds for that role.
And if you see the pictures of him, he's concerningly thin. And then he had to gain
how many
like another 60 pounds of muscle, for the next movie.
How long do you think he had to do that?
Oh, dude, it wasn't very long.
6 weeks. In 6 weeks, he gained back to 60 pounds of pure muscle to be back in the Batman movie.
Oh, man. It's insane.
Must be nice to not have anything to do but work out. I always said if I had nothing going for me, I would work out all the time.
I don't know, man. I had that period of my life where I was only working like 12 hours a week and not going to school.
Dude, when you work 12 hours a week, that seems like a lot to you.
I was not devoting that time to pure workouts.
So the reason why we brought this up is because there's a new Netflix documentary that drops this Friday. If you're listening Friday, go watch this documentary. It just came out today. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but it's about Andy Kaufman.
I think it's Jim and Andy.
Is it Jim and Andy? And then there's another title to it. Jim and Andy, something, whatever.
Well, I mean, you just need to type in Jim and Andy and you'll find the trailer for it at least.
It's called Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. It's about Jim Carrey's role in Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman biopic that was filmed in 1999. If you're not familiar with Andy Kaufman, go ahead and give us a little rundown of who Andy Kaufman is, Michael.
He was a
70s comedian. He wasn't a comedian.
Sketch comedian.
He was not. He refused to be called a comedian. He didn't like being called a comedian.
I mean, but that's what he was.
And he wasn't an actor either.
But that's what he was.
He didn't like being called that, though.
I understand that, but let's say what he was.
Okay. So he was a comedian that wasn't conventionally funny.
No.
He was kind of off.
Yeah.
He was weird.
It's uncomfortable
Okay,
funniness.
so what I was thinking today is the most who I can compare him to today would be like Zach Galifianakis. Would be kind of like, I'm sure he was heavily influenced by Andy Kaufman.
I feel like there's some more comedians that are a little bit more aggressive and, I haven't actually seen. Have you seen Zach Galifianakis' his stand up? I haven't.
Yeah, it's really weird like that.
Is it?
Yeah. So,
but is it offensively weird?
I wouldn't say offensive.
I feel like Andy Kaufman was kind of offensive
sometimes,
or at least trying to make the audience feel uncomfortable.
That's what his whole goal was. His whole goal was to make people uncomfortable. So what this movie is Jim Carrey starred as Andy Kaufman in a movie in 1999 called Man on the Moon. If you've never seen it, definitely watch that movie. It's one of Jim Carrey's greatest performances, I believe, where he just dives in as Andy Kaufman. So what he did in this movie, though, was he was method acting. He did not stop being Andy Kaufman until well after the movie was already done with production. So he was being Andy Kaufman. So Andy Kaufman was a weird guy all the time. Andy Kaufman never turned off. That was his thing. He was weird all the time. He was weird on camera. He was weird off camera. He was just an odd guy. Funny, odd, weird. So Jim Carrey became Andy Kaufman, and he became almost impossible to work with on camera. And do you remember him during this time? Like, did you watch Entertainment Tonight?
I do remember seeing a lot of talk about the movie before it was being made.
They were saying that Jim Carrey has had a mental breakdown. He's going crazy.
I don't remember exactly all that. I do remember the trailer and thinking, like, that's totally different from anything I've seen Jim Carrey do.
Yeah.
Because they showed a lot of dramatic parts of the movie.
Jim Carrey's so versatile.
Yeah, he is. When he wants to be, he can be.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, man.
Yeah, it's very good.
Crazy
it's totally
good.
Different,
not funny at all.
Totally different kind of portrayal. It has its moments of comedy. Another film of his. Well, I didn't really like 23, but it is a different role for him. It's definitely not his normal role. The Truman Show. Another role where he's not his normal Jim Carrey self, which is Jim Carrey in every movie. He definitely has a range of acting, and when he wants to do that.
So this movie seems very interesting because did you see the trailer earlier that I sent you?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Doesn't it look intense?
Yeah.
Like, Jim Carrey went way too far into this. It made everybody uncomfortable. I think one of the producers said, people are going to be suing us for for stress or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, creating a hostile workplace.
Yeah.
Hostile environment in the workplace. Man.
So, it's a crazy. Can you stop playing with that thing? It makes reverberations.
No, there's no reverberations.
Oh, I hear it.
Check it out, dude.
No, I hear it.
Look.
Okay, do it.
Nothing.
I hear it. No, so check out that movie if you get a chance. It's all about the art of method acting and people who take it too far. Because I think method actors are like crazy good. I think that's really cool. And what's cool about it is Jim Carrey, I think, did it the best. And it's chronicled in this movie. Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. We're going to have a movie review of it next week.
You know what I also really find interesting about this? Is that they had a lot of footage of it, but they I mean, this is 20 years after the movie came out.
So they said Universal said that they refused to release any of that footage, so they didn't want people to think that Jim Carrey was an asshole.
And I guess at this point where he is kind of aggressively trying to be an asshole a little bit on certain interviews or make people uncomfortable, but that's just another issue with his current breakdown. I guess they've decided it's okay to I think show
20 years later, why not make some money from Netflix? Why not just say, yeah, I'll sell it to you. I'll sell you old footage that we don't do anything with. Why not? Don't make the documentary. We don't give a shit. That movie is old, and you can find it on YouTube for free. If you want to watch the original Man on the Moon, you can find it on YouTube for free. I will not link it in the description, so I'm pretty sure you get in trouble for that, for promoting watching pirated movies. But yeah, so definitely check that out. Yeah, have you watched any movies lately?
Have I watched any movies?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I did watch recently that I know it came out months and months ago, and you've seen it, Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
I finally saw it.
Really good, right?
It's great.
It's a really good movie.
It's a great
psychological thriller.
It's
a social commentary.
Yeah, definitely.
First and foremost. And I feel like it came out right at the right time when all of that, when it was in the heat of that.
You know, be cautious of white liberals. Is that our commentary? Because that's what I got from it.
Were they liberals?
They were very complimentary of blacks, but they didn't think of them necessarily
as
equals.
Super racist, man.
No, dude. Well, everything that they said was a compliment.
Oh, a backhanded compliment. If you haven't seen Get Out,
backhanded. No.
Very
have
stereotypical.
They even wanted to. They had no problem becoming a black person, but
they did. Yeah,
I know. There was, in fact, they complimented about like, oh, superior genetics, and even when you think about it, the conversation early with the father in the hallway, and he's showing the picture of his father in the track, and about how he was runner up, on the race, the famous race that the 1936 Olympics, where Hitler's there trying to make a stance about white power, and that the black people beat him. Like he had a admiration for black people in this setting, but they still did not see them necessarily as equals, or they liked the idea of black people from a distance, and they were definitely not black themselves or experiencing the black experience. I mean, you could see that scene where he, sees that guy, dressed a little off at the luncheon scene, and he gives his fist to pound him, and that guy is being controlled by somebody that was originally white, and he just grabs his fist awkwardly. And, that scene right there just shows that although they admire them, they're not them. It's almost like using black people as a platform for their own causes, That's what I got from it. Not necessarily an anti-liberal stance, but be cautious of being used as a ploy for somebody else's causes. Or that's what I was getting from Get Out. I thought it was amazing. I think it would have been terrible if it was just a straightforward, white country racist, doing terrible things to black people. I think it would have been a little less of a movie. But yeah, that was my take on it.
That's an old ass movie, dude. I thought you were going to say you watched Thor or something, because you were telling me the other day that you wanted to watch Thor.
Well, I did want to watch Thor, but I didn't. I didn't go.
So that brings me to my next question here.
Yeah.
What about your life? Because we did talk about Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, the great Jim Carrey. You even named the movie that I'm basing this kind of off of.
Yeah.
What about your life is most like a movie that you're like, dude, you know what? My life's too fucking. I'm Jim Carrey and fucking what's the
Truman Show?
The Truman Show.
Oh yeah.
What's your most Truman Show moment in life where you're like, fuck this?
It was actually before I watched the Truman Show, but it was similar. I watched The Magic School Bus when I was a kid. Did I tell you about this?
I think you've talked about this on this podcast.
Did I talk about it on the podcast?
I think so.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about it then. I did talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? Any of our current listeners probably never saw that episode.
Okay.
As a kid, I watched The Magic School Bus, and I saw... It wasn't Arnold that got sick, was it? Or was it the other one?
Arnold's the nerd. It was the cool kid who got sick.
It was the cool kid with the backwards cap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got sick. What was his name?
I don't know. Not to be confused with the kid TJ from Recess. Also a cool kid with a backwards hat.
Backwards hats were just the thing of the 90s.
Hey, I still do them. I feel like that meme with what's that fool's name with the bug eyes?
I don't know.
The he's on Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, Steve Buscemi?
I feel like Steve Buscemi, that meme where I have my skateboard on my back. Hello, fellow youth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel when I walk into things. When I walk into shows and I'm wearing like shorts, Vans, and my backwards hat. Like, hello, fellow youth.
Okay, so in this episode he gets sick. His whole school bus decides to enter his body and just see what's going on inside him. See all the white blood cells attacking shit. And at the end, there's only one way out, and they have to go.
His urethra.
No, they poop. The poop. His poop track. They go out through his intestines, and it's just. I got scared, as a kid. I was just like, what if I am pooping and my whole class is there and they're in on this, and they, just nobody talks about it when I go into class, and they all saw me poop, they just didn't say anything. Anyways,
I feel like I have a lot of those moments, moments where I think my life's a movie, and I know, I catch myself all the time doing it, and it's like, you're not on right now, Chuy. Nobody's watching you. Where you look over to the side as if the camera's right there. I do that constantly. I look over to the camera way too much.
I think it's that early influence that we've talked about multiple times, Wayne's World.
Yeah, definitely. I look over to the camera a lot like, are you fucking kidding me? Nobody's over there. There's no camera. But I do that a lot. Another thing that I notice that I catch a lot is I lost what I was going to say. I really did. I don't know. It's the panning. I noticed that. I learned that I can edit these things now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did notice that. I don't know if I'll edit that out, but I did notice that I can edit these things now. I watched the whole tutorial. Told you, the old man. But yeah, so movies.
They're interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about movies.
No, I'm just gonna take all this out.
All of it?
That little piece right there.
Ooh.
Moving on to the next subject.
You're going to take out that I just said balls while you were saying that?
No, why would I do that?
Okay. Anyway.
I didn't know. I thought you said bouse.
No, I said
I was like,
balls.
dude, this guy.
Well, I figured,
This guy's getting lost in the sauce over there.
No, I just figured, if you're editing it out, might as well edit out me saying balls.
I thought you said bouse. So Oreo has mystery Oreos. We've already tasted them earlier, but we're going to taste them again. Mystery Oreo, you just the flavor, you get $50,000. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to take one. We're going to do some ASMR. We're going to have a good time. Let's go. Get some of that good time Oreo flavor. Go ahead and grab one there. Mystery Oreo, they're in a white pack. Limited edition. They're the 30th is the last day you can get these, and then that's the last day for you to guess what flavor these are.
So again, what I said earlier to you, Fruity Pebbles.
I feel like that's way too easy for people to
lemon,
guess.
I mean, are you saying that there's going to be something like lemon and... I still don't understand the parameters of this.
You just guess the flavor and you win. That's why I feel like it's not very easy. Like they're going to come out and say that it's like lavender or something really weird.
But no.
It's not Fruity Pebbles. That's what it tastes like. It smells like Fruity Pebbles. It smells like a fruit cereal. That's way too easy. I've guessed that because you can vote as many times as you want. The one thing that I think it is lemon leaf, because if you go and snap open a lemon leaf, it smells just like a lemon leaf. A lemon leaf smells just like Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
You like it? You like this flavor?
Oh yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's Oreos with Fruity Pebbles.
I don't like the chocolate and the fruit different. The
honestly, I don't really even taste the chocolate too much.
Kind of weird to me.
I don't even really taste the chocolate in it.
Hold on here. Will you taste just the cream? Will you do just the cream?
What do you mean?
Just eat just the cream, not the turkey?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. Tell me if there's a difference there. Maybe you can guess a little bit better if you just eat the cream and not the chocolate. Did you ever do this as a kid? Just take off the cream? Oh, you do it totally different than me.
Weird.
I use the sandwich turkey as a scoop, as a spoon.
I mean, I guess
he
it's
just
smart,
eats it off of like an animal.
Dude, you never watch the commercials?
I've done it before like that.
With the old man and...
I feel like you're a dry guy. You don't eat these with milk.
Oh, we're talking about that. Okay.
What does that say?
Oh, I think you did your feedback thing again.
Okay, press monitor.
Wait, what?
Turn off monitor or whatever.
Off?
What does it say right there? It gives you the option. What does it say?
I don't know, man.
What does this one say?
Monitor off?
What does this one say?
Monitor on?
That one says?
No feedback protection?
Yeah, so I feel like you're a dry guy and you eat these with no milk. You do, huh? You don't eat Oreos with milk. I could tell.
I mean, I have, but I've...
I knew it. I knew you wouldn't eat it with milk.
I think I preferably like to have a glass of milk with it.
Did you ever, just leave them in there and get them all soggy and then eat them with a spoon?
I hated that.
Really?
Don't like it.
I love soggy Oreos. Did you ever have the Oreo cereal?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like that?
Yeah, but I tried to get them while they're still crunchy.
Did you ever have the Cookie Crisp? Because my parents never let me have it.
My grandparents' house would always have that.
Really?
So.
Did your parents not let you have it? I feel like...
No, I just don't think I ever asked for it. It wasn't my favorite.
I've never had it.
I mean, it's not like it's like a chocolate chip cookie. It's like... I mean, it's whatever.
So, you said that earlier. You were getting a little ranty, right?
Oh, yeah, I was getting a little ranty.
So, you had a bone to pick.
I don't know if I have the bone to pick, I mean, I guess when I really read it, then I'll get the bone to pick again. But, the Oreo put me in a good mood. But then, it's hard to get back into my angry mood. Ken Bone was a good guy. But my pick was about something I see on Instagram a lot.
You spend a lot of time on that thing.
I do a lot.
You're the reason I don't like certain things. I want you to know that.
What?
I won't like certain things because I know you'll see what I like. I don't want you to see anything that I like. Because I know you're a creep looking at that Explore page.
No.
I know you look at what people like.
No, I don't.
I know you do.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Like the liked by whatever. No. I will go on the Explore page, but the Explore page doesn't do that like it used to. Mm-hmm. I think it was getting too many people got caught up.
It doesn't do that anymore?
I think it does sometimes, but most of the time I don't see it. Like I used to see it on every post. It would
tells you who you follow.
It would say based
what you like
on so and so's likes.
Yeah.
I've seen that once or twice, but not a lot. I feel. What are you liking? That would be so judgmental about.
None of your business.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, what would be so weird for me to be like?
Oh yeah.
Man, my little issue with Instagram is that I feel like social media in general does water down certain things, whether that be a certain subculture or one rant I was gonna have was about pins, enamel pins, and I'm not gonna go into enamel pins today, but things.
What do you have
like
against
that.
Enamel pins?
It's not enamel pins that I'm against.
It's the kids who collect them?
No, I don't want to get.
You got to
get
get into
rant.
it now.
I don't want to get
into it now. You got to get into it now. Enamel pins.
Enamel pins.
They're a big thing right now with people. They buy them. They're very expensive. I do.
I have one or two.
I have a Pikachu eating a slice of pizza by Alex Strangler.
That's pretty cool.
That one's pretty cool.
I have a Fiend skull.
The
Fiend Man, and he's got 2 slices of pizza holding. He's doing his cross arm thing, and he's got 2.
So what's your thing against enamel pins? That they're too kitschy right now?
Very kitschy. No, I'm not going to go into that. That's not what my thing is today.
All right.
I'll go into that next week. We'll talk all about it.
Next week's too special, dude. You're not going to get salty on my day. Not on my day of eating. You're not going to get salty.
I might be salty. Let's talk about the rise of Instagram poetry.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to read one right now. We'll start off. This is one of the most popular Instagram poets. All of these poets usually have a typewriter's font, and a lot of the time there's no exclamation. I mean, there's no commas, there's no punctuation, there's no everything's lowercase mostly. Sometimes there's an accompaniment of little kitschy drawing. Okay.
I have seen these. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
That's Tumblr poetry to me.
Tumblr and Instagram.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The world hated her because they couldn't understand the science that made her all that she was. R.M. Drake. Now, a lot of this can be called minimalist poetry, but, you know, I'm sure we all studied poetry for like 2 weeks in some literature class, whether that be in college or in, high school. This is bullshit. This is all over-sentimental bullshit that is way too vague. The idea of poetry is taking an abstract thought and relating it to something real, but not to be so vague and abstract to where it doesn't even make any goddamn sense. Fucking...
Read it again. I want to try to make sense of it.
And the world hated her because they couldn't understand the science. I'm going to repeat that line. Because they couldn't understand the science that made her all that she was. Let me just say, okay, make sense of it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, dude.
Dude, no, it doesn't. I'll tell you why.
Why? Go ahead.
Because science is a foundation of very strict things that explain exactly what something is.
That's not true. There's a lot of theories in science that can't be proven.
There's theories in... Okay, there's theories. What are you talking about? Like gravity? How like gravity can't necessarily be proven?
Is a theory.
No, but there's accepted principles of science that are basically fact. Of course, you
gotta
can't
watch some Ancient Aliens, bro.
Dude. Let me talk about conspiracy people. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into that.
You got another one?
Oh yeah, I got all kinds, dude. You want to hear another one from R.M. Drake?
Yeah, sure. Do you know who this? Have you looked into who R.M. Drake is?
I've never seen him. I've seen his account a long time ago.
Okay.
More sentimental bullshit that, and I'm not against sentimental poetry. I'm just saying this isn't like an actual art. What they're doing, like, I mean, I feel like they're just. I don't know how to explain it. It's just this is not good. I feel like the little that I know about poetry, which I don't know a lot. I mean, I feel like this is just cannot be respected. The more she went on to forget love, the closer she went on to become it. The fuck does that even mean?
I don't know,
dude.
I don't. I feel like you can make sense of it if you really wanted to.
Here's a Rupi Kaur.
Maybe you need to
she's
find
very
some love,
popular.
Dude.
No, it's not about
you need
love.
Some love.
I don't need that kind of love. That is draining. I want someone who energizes me. Is that a fucking poem?
I don't think that's a poem. That's just a thought.
That's just a fucking thought. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these are things that were either inspirational quotes or things that are just regular thoughts.
Okay,
but they've accompanied it to make it look like it's a poem.
Can I get you Post Malone Stoney?
These fuckers,
and then you read them, see if you can.
Dude,
if it gets you a little more.
Dude,
it gets you by
these fuckers are selling all these books on Instagram, like crazy money coming out of this.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at a post by a poet called Atticus.
Okay.
Love her, but leave her wild. That's his fucking poem.
I mean, this is not.
How many reposts do you imagine? How many reposts do you imagine people posted of that and thought, "Oh, it's good poetry." I'm very into poetry. It's just like another thing that people take on into, like, oh, I love poetry, but like, do you love poetry? You know, I don't think you know.
I only
what
know
it
one
is.
poem. I'm a poet.
Who,
Robert Frost.
Robert Frost.
That's it. I can't tell you another one.
Emerson. You've heard that name.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah. I know the name.
you know Charles Bukowski.
Okay.
He's kind of I think the fucker that did all this bullshit, led all to this, because this is all minimalist poetry that's like 3 to 7 lines and kind of vague. His had a little bit more thought into them though. But I think that's.
Give me another one. Do me another one.
Okay, this is some off of BuzzFeed.
Ooh. You know, somebody
Dude,
once...
This is just like one of those inspirational
This is a BuzzFeed
quotes.
story that I have for you.
Yeah.
One time somebody tried to impress me.
Oh, yeah.
By saying, oh, yeah? I know someone who works for BuzzFeed. No, they're like, I think they said contributor to BuzzFeed. I was like, what? They had one fucking jit thing that got
picked up.
Picked up.
They figured out a clickbait title.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. They're all clickbait titles mostly. Very terrible content.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that.
I remember that too. I remember that day. They're like, I know someone who works for BuzzFeed. Good for you.
This one seems like it was something out of a lyric from a high school band that we used to listen to.
Can I guess the band?
No, we don't want even name bands here.
Oh, is it like a high school? Oh, we went to school with them.
Then she said, love is a gun. If you point it my way, you damn sure better know how to use it.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible.
What the fuck? This is on
BuzzFeed's
I went in top 15 people to follow.
I went in on an open mind because I always try to combat you on anything that
dude.
I'm kind of on your side here.
Like these are nonsensical. Just like these are not good.
So I know that you just fester, right? You fester.
I'm not into fast cars, fast talkers, or fast lovers. Take your time with me, J.R. Rogue. I want to come up with an account with a stupid name like J.R. Rogue, and
why don't you just go why don't you just go into the pen name Tiki Mike?
Yeah, I don't think they would want to repost Tiki Mike with a little cartoon.
All of them are the cartoon titis
of the Tiki.
Yeah, all of them are little titis.
Yeah, I don't think I would be marketable that way. Yeah, this is just trash. I'm gonna say this is all just trash, man. And these people are publishing their own books, whether they.
I feel like you can get away with doing some funny ones, like some funny sayings that everybody says,
and just use typewriter font.
Yeah,
and
you just put like. I'm thinking there's a mustard background. Like a mustard on black with typewriter, and it just says "Young, Dumb, and Full of Cum." TT Mike.
I like it, dude. I think that could get some reposts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to start some Tumblrs.
But yeah, I'm just saying this rise of watered down
Wine Her
literature,
Diner.
and
69 her. TT
And again, I'm not saying poetry has to rhyme or necessarily be straightforward or literal. Of course, it can't be literal. A lot of poetry is abstract thoughts. But
sipping on Coke and rum.
Least make it make
I'm like, so what?
fucking sense. You know what? This is. I think it's a trend of culture right now, of getting their news from social media, not getting in depth into anything. And a writer about these Instagram poets, because I was like trying to look up examples of Instagram poets, and I found there is a community of people that do hate it just as much as I do. And there was this person that was, they might be just jaded and frustrated because they don't get their shit published or whatever. But they were just talking about how it's just it's like an easy little fucking, I mean, they didn't say this, but it's like an easy packaged McDonald's meal. It's convenient, and it's just like something that people can take and pretend like they read, pretend like they're into literature, or
when I was a kid, I liked Jim Morrison a lot.
Yeah,
I think one of my favorite bands growing up was The Doors.
Yeah,
and he's super into poetry, and he was super into making art with his words. So I tried to listen to or read poetry, and it genuinely will make you feel dumb, because some of it is really like, what are they talking about?
Some of it's dense. Yeah. You have to like really dig into it.
It's like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't really get this. And then as a kid, you don't understand.
You were a kid too.
You don't understand.
You should probably
that
try
poetry
to read
doesn't
it now.
Need to rhyme.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of that stuff didn't rhyme, and I'm like, this shit doesn't even know how to rhyme. He's in a book. No, I remember working at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I'm going to check out the poetry section, because they have a whole section. They have their whole own little thing, and I was like, where do I start? So you pick up an anthology or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thumbing through it, and I was like, I'm sure in my bookshelf I have a poetry book that I bought because I tried to like figure it out. And it's one of those things you have it or you don't.
What I'm just saying is,
and these guys
people
don't. They don't.
They don't pay attention to stanzas or cadence or anything. They just say some real cliched, sentimental bullshit, and people just eat it up. And probably a lot of Tumblr crowd, or it's just social media is just watering down everything. As much as I like social media, and I spend a lot of time on social media lately, but it's really just like
I feel like social media just gives people just like us. Social media gives people just like us a voice.
Yeah,
is what it is. Because if we wanted to do this 30 years ago, we'd have to go.
Oh yeah,
knock on the radio and be like, "Hey, give us a job because we really want to be on the radio."
Yeah.
So a lot of amateurs can do great things or shitty things.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that a lot of people who aren't very good artists have art pages dedicated to them. So they have their own personal Instagram, and then they have so-and-so's art page. And then you look at their art, and it's not very good.
Uh-huh.
But I guess the argument to that is, what is art? Are you the art police?
Yes,
I mean,
to an extent, but art has to have some kind of meaning behind it too, or it could be just based purely on aesthetically pleasing things. But again, you can't always say bad poetry or good poetry, because in a way, it's almost the same thing as saying, is that a bad painting or a good painting? I feel like it's just, I don't know. You develop an eye for things, and I feel like poetry, develop a little bit of a mind for things, even if you don't read poetry. You don't read poetry. I don't really read poetry either. But I think I know a good poem when I read it.
Well, let's do this. Let's look up the best poem.
The best poem?
Of all time. I'll just look it up. The best poem of all time. It's there. You can look up anything. You can look up the best movie of all time.
That's got to be like so...
But it'll give us a good idea, though.
I guess.
It's going to be it's not going to be... Because it's all subject to what you think. So,
are we talking about like French?
So it is Robert Frost.
Oh, yeah.
And it is called The Road Less Taken. No, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost.
This is about developing into a better human being.
Two roads diverged. Hold on, it froze on. It went blank on me. Hold on. Computers tend to do that. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where I bent, in the undergrowth. Then took the other, and just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy, and wanted to wear. Thereas for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. I mean...
It's just phenomenally better.
I mean,
I think
still don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Well, he's saying that one road is constantly taken. That one road is the grass is worn down. That's the road that everybody takes. You're striving for a different path than other people. It's being the outsider. I already got that from that poem, man. That conveyed an actual thought to me where I'm like, oh, I get it. I know what it's about. I'm saying that this other poetry bullshit, like...
So this one is...
It's just, what the fuck is it about?
The second best poem of all time. It's John McCrae. It's called In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our places, and in the sky, the larks still braving, singing fly. Stupid, sexy Flanders. No, but... I mean, those are definitely better than the Instagram ones.
Yeah.
I mean, leaps and bounds better. So, you want to take us on some final thoughts?
Some final thoughts, method acting usually leads to great results. As we've seen,
That's true.
As we've seen, though, it can go two ways. Fucking the transgender portrayal in Dallas Buyers Club,
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Or you can be a legit Joker.
Or you could be the worst hated character in any DC movie created. Baby showers. Did we talk about baby showers this time around?
No.
We skipped it. You know what? I'm just going to go on
Let's
a little
talk about
thought there.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about
don't
it.
Don't have them.
I'm not going to say don't have them, but, have a couple beers around if you're going to make it a co-ed.
I understand that the mom can't have any beer, but that's the choice that she's having for her child. And I think all of our moms smoked and had a mart or two, and we turned out just all fine.
Jim Carrey, along with the method acting, I just want you to get back to making movies again. You've done great work in the past, and I hate that you're just resorting to documentaries now about your earlier work.
Definitely watch that movie, though. It looks really good.
It does look good. But let's all hope that Jim Carrey gets over his weird depression and just starts acting again. Instagram poets, fucking get a real job. Or, you know what? Props to you for making money milking shit on millennials these days that buy your shit at very expensive prices. I don't know if you've seen the prices on these books, but they're usually very expensive books, like $40, $50 a book, like for a little thin book. Anyways, that's what I'm just saying.
Jump on Frostbites later this week. I'm going to talk more about millennials making money using Snapchat. Until next time, goodbye.